told you what I was going to tell you, and now I'm going to tell you. We have a wild beast showing up right at the beginning of this show. How about that? No fooling around here. Wild beast showing up in Revelation chapter 13. We're not there yet, but we are heading there. But I've been talking about the beast of Daniel 7, and I want to show you, because I've been talking about it for too long, that the wild beast that shows up in Revelation is a composite of the four beasts Daniel saw coming out of the sea in chapter 7, which I have been insisting to you are religions. And I still insist that to you because they are. Now, look at this. The lioness, that was the first beast Daniel saw. The eastern beast, aha. Thought you were going to get me on that, didn't you? No, it's the eastern beast was a lioness. One head, no horns. Mark that. Somebody keeping track of this for me? One head, no horns. Next was the she-bear. All these animals are females, and female is a popular type of gods for spiritual entities. The she-bear. One head, no horns. Just like the lioness has one head, which you like to see that on a bear, especially a she-bear. If there's anything I hate, is a two-headed she-bear. Not seeing it. Oh boy. Number 3, the leopardess. That was the next animal that appeared to Daniel. 4 heads. I've seen people drawing pictures of this on the internet. You look up the leopardess. Most versions won't call it the leopardess. The leopard of Daniel 7. And they'll have this leopard with 4 heads. Well, I was going to make fun of that, but I don't think I can now because this is what John saw. And again, it doesn't mean that there's going to be a 4-headed leopard. It means that people say, is the 4-headed leopard literal? Well, John saw a literal 4-headed leopard, but it represented, this isn't John, I'm sorry, Daniel. This is Daniel's vision. Daniel saw a 4-headed leopard, but it represents something, and what it represents is literal. It has no horns, so mark that. Do you know where we are so far? The lioness, 1 head, no horns. The she-bear, 1 head, no horns. The leopard, 4 heads, no horns. And then there was a monstrous, an indistinct creature, a beast so terrible that it cannot be named. Beast that has no name. And it has 1 head and 10 horns. 1 head and 10 horns. So if you add up the heads of these beasts, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if you add up the horns, blank, 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 10, you get 10. Kind of like the score of a baseball game. You see, each inning, they have a number, and then you add up the innings, and the team with the most runs wins. That's how it works in baseball, right? Yeah, of course, I know that. I'm a sportsman. So the wild beast of Revelation chapter 13, has 7 heads and 10 horns. That is the exact number of heads added up of the 4 beasts of Daniel 7, and it has the 10 horns of the monstrous that Daniel saw. So the wild beast is an amalgamation of the 4 beasts. Now, I'm killing a couple birds with one stone here. I've been making a big deal out of this term QDM, which I pronounce and it appears in Daniel 7, and it is translated Eastern in the Concordant version. The Eastern animal is a lioness. Now, look at this. If these are religions, and they indeed are, then they are proceeding from east to west. So the easternmost beast is a lioness. The beast west of that is a she-bear. The beast west of that is a leopardess. The beast west of that is the nondescript or the monstrous. West to east. Now, before I show you how the lioness fits Buddhism, the she-bear fits Hinduism, the leopardess fits Islam, and the monstrous fits Christianity, before I do that, I will tell you that these religions proceed from east to west as I just named them. The easternmost religion is Buddhism. It is centered in East Asia. The religion directly to the west of it is Hinduism, centered in India. West of that is Islam. That's the Arab world. West of that is Christendom, Christianity, Europe, and the Americas. These proceed from east to west. And I wish I had a map to show you, but picture a map of the globe. Or a globe of the map. One of the two. Picture a map of the world. Picture a map of the world. And as we start over there in East Asia, as you're facing the map, that's to the right. And that's the easternmost block. Now picture it. You're going for East Asia. You got Japan. You have China. You have Korea. Are you picturing it? All right. Now keep traveling west. And as you travel west, you arrive in India. And in India you're no longer Buddhists in India. For some reason, you're Hindus. Why? Because the spirit powers are organized. Oh, speaking of that, listen to this quote. This is fantastic. The vision of Daniel, this is not a sidetrack, believe you me. The vision of Daniel is concerned with the third epic of Satan. I was just talking about the epics, in which he still has access to heaven. The day's coming when he's cast out of heaven in the unveiling, and he won't have access to it anymore. His membership card will be revoked. Yet he claims the sovereignty and worship of the earth. He's the God of the air. And he gets worship on the earth. Not in the form of evil people covered with blood, dancing naked around a sacrificed goat. No, too obvious. Too obvious. He gets to worship through the religions we're talking about. Now, again, he changes his tactics. In Job's case, Satan tried to alienate him from God by heavy trials. Not that Satan has given this up totally, because he has alienated people from God by severe trials. He has changed people's doctrines around by heavy trials. So he's still in this realm of heavy trials. But in this realm, speaking of Job, the heavy trials only serve to open Job's eyes to a deeper reality of God. Job says at the end of the book, I had heard of you, now I see you. And he's blessed, double, triple, all this. Satan's probably going, jeez, I can't get anything right. So he changes his tactic. Now, in the trial of the wilderness, this is all in Epic 3, when he's tempting the Lord, he challenges him with physical things. He's tempting him with bread and with the kingdoms, but he's rebuffed again. But when he forms the earth into one giant religion, he's going to get the worship of everybody except a few freaks known as the remnant who aren't going to buy it because they have divine wisdom, because even those freaks, the elect, the remnant, would be deceived if it were possible. But Jesus Christ keeps them from deception. So in Daniel's 7th chapter and in the latter chapters of the unveiling, what we're looking at is opposition to divine worship. Remember, we're going to be in the temple section there. And this is what sends the four spirits from heaven to earth. Four winds, four spirits coming from heaven to earth and blowing from the sea. This is interesting, isn't it? Where do these spirits come from? Daniel sees them coming from the sea, associated with the sea, but they're coming from heaven. So this is really a prelude in Daniel 7 to Satan being cast out of heaven in Revelation 13. He's still in heaven when these beasts are formed, but the beasts are coming out of heaven, and I am convinced, ladies and gentlemen, that the winds represent literal spirits, the big boys, heavy hitters that are in charge of each beast and thus each religion. Each religion, these 4 religions we're speaking of, has a beast associated with, a spirit, I should say, associated with it that manifests itself to Daniel in the form of a beast. There's spirits behind these things, distinct ones. I don't know, one's name is Bob, one's name is Gary, one's name is Ralph, one's name is Leonard. I don't know. I believe they have names, but they're not named in Scripture. But they're animating the 4 religions. And this is what they do. I think this quote is amazing. Listen to this. To organize mankind and give mankind forms of worship which alienate them from God and prepare them for the worship of his adversary. Oh my God. The 4 religions, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, and Christianity, are sent to earth from heaven to organize humanity and give them forms of worship. Forms. These are forms of worship which alienate them from God. How about that? They purport to bring people to God, but you need to look behind the curtain. They, in fact, alienate people from God and prepare them. And this has been a long, drawn-out preparation to worship the adversary. And he's going to gain the worship of the whole earth. He's already there practically. It just becomes more attractive. Unbelievable. But that's how it's going to go down. Now, back to the east to west thing. The lioness, Buddhism, east, west of that Hinduism, the she-bear. Now we get to the Arab world, again, Islam and the monstrous Christianity. Now, in between these is Jerusalem. I want to show you, if you can see this, I'm going to show you on the, this is a risky undertaking here. I'm going to show you on the studio cam. We have the lioness here, and then we have the she-bear here, the leopard is here, and the monstrous here. So we see 4 beasts. And as I go from east to west, we're starting in East Asia, and we're finishing in the United States. Directly in between East Asia and the United States is Jerusalem. Jerusalem, or Jerusalem if you prefer, is at the center of the world. Literally, it's the center of the world, the geographic landmass. For instance, if you look at the geographic landmass of the U.S., the center of the U.S. is somewhere in Kansas. If you take the geographical landmass of the earth, the center of it is not sort of like, but definitely Jerusalem. So Jerusalem also, what do you know, is the pivot point around which these beasts form. The 2 beasts to the east of her are Hinduism and Buddhism, and the 2 beasts to the west of her, which are actually the most seductive religions, as we will see, are Islam and Christendom. Are you impressed? I am. I got more of this coming tomorrow.